Welcome to the Do Good X podcast, a sanctuary from the entrepreneurial grind. Hosts Kimberly Danielle and Stephen Lewis, advocates for impactful entrepreneurship, guide you on the path where purpose meets business. Join us to slow down, reconnect, and explore the challenges of under-resourced entrepreneurs, uncovering the unique journey of building businesses that make a difference. Now, your hosts.
Welcome, everyone, to the Do Good X podcast. My name is Kimberly Danielle, and I am a community builder, a communication strategist, and a coach who comes from generations of faith-driven entrepreneurs who believe that our purpose should drive us to contribute to the common good. And today we have another gift. The last episode that we recorded, Stephen and myself, we were able to chat with entrepreneur, founder, William McNeely. And here we are again with another episode and additional content from our time with him last week. William McNeely is the founder of Do Greater, and he has such an incredibly powerful story, one that if you need to be inspired to push through significant challenges in order to develop and or build that business that you have been drawn to, do not skip over this episode. And be sure to check out last week's episode with him as well, where we chatted with him. You will leave these two episodes asking yourself, as William says, with the time I have, what is it that I should do to do greater? Enjoy tuning in.
William, what is one go-to practice that you turn to slow down, to
slow down,
to reconnect and center yourself?
Oh, that's a good one. I think for me, I tell my staff a lot of times, they get on me a lot of times about this word benchmarking, because I always go out and I look to see where successful organizations and successful spaces and, you know, in multiple different industries that we can take pieces from. And so for me, my centering, my downtime is I will either in Charlotte or in another city, I will just drive and walk around and look, slow myself down and try and visualize things that are happening around me in certain areas that most people would not necessarily see. So that allows me to calm myself down, you know, leave all of the very tactical and financial stuff out and just start to see how people activate in spaces. That calms me down, and it's still not a vacation or not, you know, but it keeps me from being, you know, so tight. But it allows me to really see how people interact with spaces. I would have loved to be an architect in another life, and so I love to go and look at architectural structures and see how people interact with physical spaces. And then I come back and try to use that knowledge for us building spaces for our community. But that calms me down. You know, it's just walking around a neighborhood or uptown and just really observing people and how they interact with the surroundings.
How much of your success do you attribute to your own grit, will, and hustle versus your faith?
All of it. I mean, I think for me, it's this. Early on in my career, you know, I've always grown up in the church. My mom is, you know, when you talk about Shiloh here, my mom is actually still a member in the church here. But faith was instilled in us a long time ago. And I actually, part of my impact, I've always been involved in churches. I would always say I'm that kind of the behind the scenes guy with church administration, church growth, marketing, all those type of things I love to do. But I think when you face a situation like I did, and you've got this, you know, this tag of end of life, you know, across your chest, I think it makes you really start to think about the things that got you to where you are and why you're here and what that impact is. And so I think for me, I started to look at my entire life and and where I was the best at. And I would always look at this, you know, this red thread that ran through my life was always helping youth and young adults and people reach their full potential. And so even though I was, corporate, doing all those type of things, growing a family, building homes and things like that everybody wants to do, the place that I found my success and my happiness was when I was helping other people. So when you get, a little older and you start to reflect on those things and you start to say, okay, where is it that I need to be now? And, and I would look back and say, those are the areas that I loved, and how can I do more of that? And then I just started to think about, the way I'm built. I'm a risk taker, and that's all. And for me, even though I take a lot of risk, for me, it's all about faith. It's all about taking that next step and knowing that the next step will be there for you. So I learned a long time ago this analogy of, it's almost like, and it sticks in me all the time. It's like walking the plank. And somebody told me about walking the plank faith. And when you're walking the plank, if you know about the old pirate stories and all of that, they blind for you. You can't see, you can't go backwards because they got, they normally have a sword sticking in your back, saying go forward because they want to see you fall off the plank. But when you're walking the plank and you have this kind of faith, every step you take is a step forward. But I believe, as you get to the end of that, God provides this next step for you. There's a ground, there's a foundation there. And so when I was, they told me I had 2 weeks to go, there wasn't an idea of that I was about to fall off the ship or off the plank. It was that in 2 weeks, there will be another step for me to make. And I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know how it's going to happen. But at that point, there's going to be some more ground for me to walk on. And so I think in that area all the time is that when I'm thinking big, when I'm thinking of big spaces, when I'm thinking of, doing something that I shouldn't be doing, there's going to be something that happens that allows me to make that next step. So I step out on faith. I'll step out and say, I don't have the money for a 20,000 square feet space. I didn't have the money when we started for an 8,000 square feet space. And I didn't have the money when we started with a truck. So what's the difference between, taking a step to get a $5,000 truck or taking a step to get a $5 million building? It's the same step. And so that's, I think, in the challenges I've had over my life and the obstacles that I've overcome, I just learned to take the first step, and the rest will be there for you.
Well, in conclusion, William, I want to ask you to complete this sentence. Because of my entrepreneurial endeavor, communities will be or will more be able to do what?
I think communities will be able to, because of what I am doing now, in the next 20 to 30 years in Charlotte will have a community of entrepreneurs and innovators ready to take the city to the next level. They will have kids and young adults who are prepared for the challenges of the city. They will have a upwardly mobile community, particularly on the West Side, who have now understood how to solve very complex problems. And they will have a ecosystem of what we call creative collisions, these opportunities for folks to interact with each other in spaces that were built all around the city that are there for these opportunities for kids to see what they can do and become. And this will be a norm, and we will all work together to solve all the problems that we have in the city of Charlotte.
Thank you, William, for your impactful work with youth and with the community. And because of Do Greater and your leadership, these young people will be able to thrive in ways they may not have been able to before. So we appreciate you, and we appreciate the work of your organization. I am always fascinated by going beyond entrepreneurs' businesses to learn the story of the founder and how the business idea emerged and the insights that they have had through their entrepreneurial journey as well. So I hope you have been inspired and find something of value from William and his story. I know that I have. And if you've enjoyed listening to this episode today and want to learn more about ways to connect with us and other entrepreneurs on the journey, go to dogoodx.org. Here you can subscribe to our email and join our Do Good X LinkedIn group to keep posted on resources to help you build a business for good. Thanks again for joining us. And until next time, be well and do good.
Thank you for listening to the Do Good X podcast. To continue the conversation or access our resources, visit www.dogoodx.org. Join us again for conversations that will nourish your soul, ignite your dreams, and empower you to build an impactful business, one intentional step at a time. Until then, keep striving, thriving, and doing good.